All right, so we are live here on the Inspired Life Soul Chats. My name is Patricia Wald Hopkins, and I am your host for today. I'm also a Gene Keys guide and ambassador, and I have two wonderful guests here with me today who I will be introducing in a few moments. I do want to present the Gene Key Pulse for today, which we will be receiving a transmission through our conversation. And it is Gene Key 47, and it is called Transmuting the Past. And it is about working through those things in our lives that oppress us, the oppression, the shadows and challenges of oppression, and to transfiguration, which is the Asiatic level, which is something many of us will maybe only tap into in our entire life. But the gift, the path of it, is transmutation. And so we're going to talk about that alchemical process today of the turning in when we have a challenge, to alchemize it and transmute it and come out in a fresh state. So with that, I would like to introduce Michelle and Samuel of Awakening Tribes. I've been communicating with these two for, I think we thought maybe about a year. We're finally starting to have these conversations that we have been wanting to share with the public. And so tell me a little bit about yourselves before we play with the Gene Keys.
You stop. This time is you.
Yes, I'm Brazilian. I live in Rio. And I think it will be 2 years, almost 2 years that we met each other here in Rio. I found this Viking lost here. And since the beginning, we see some similarities that related to spiritual path. And we have a deep connection very fast. And with our exchange about the subject, about the spirituality, he has his way to see stuff, and we are different for sure, and we exchange a lot. And I think it's a year that we decided why we have so much wonderful conversation and long conversation. Why we don't start to share in YouTube? Because in my personal path, I watching some people in the internet, they helped me a lot. So, and then I realized that as we have this kind of, we like to study, we like to share, we like to experimentate stuff. And then we decided to do the same. Maybe we can help others as we have been helped. So, and then Awakening Tribes born, because we think that all of people can help each other, independent of the level that we are on the spirituality. We can all the time learn with people around us. So this is it.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
What's better than that? That I was lost.
Yes, she has presented it very well for the two of you. But do you have some additional words to add, Samuel, about your personal?
Yes, I have these little beings with me.
Oh, yeah, we have our first dog on the soul chat.
That is so needy.
Yes.
But he's steady with me. I do believe that he's silent, but he's
communicating
something. A lot of
things.
No, yeah, we the only things that I will add is that Michelle forgot some things that we decided. We had the idea of creating the channel, but like we discussed before, we had someone that was reading card that it's a friend, and she told us you need to use this conversation to put online because it can serve some other people that are in needs. We understand the needs, but like we were discussing, we all unconsciously or consciously sometimes need some things. We need to develop, to unlock a different door. That's why the 47 will be fantastic for me today, and I am sure for other people. So yeah, it's the only things that I wanted to, because I like to give to Cesar what was made by Cesar. This person was, which named Patricia too. She was the I will say the sparks of this adventure. In case she watched.
Well, okay.
And doing it, I think also just for add, I think for me it's a challenge because we speak in English that is not my natural language, and I'm very discreet person. I don't use too much internet stuff to show my life, so this is very hard to me. But I think we're doing well.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would never. Yeah.
Try some. I used to say to someone, "You start first, then I need to understand." But I think we are doing well.
The gene key 47 start to appear. You see the here start to show.
It's transmuting that story that you're
Yes.
not comfortable being in public speaking on the internet because you're natural.
Yeah. No, but it's funny because we keep saying in our video that life is, I mean, people see it as a duality, but the duality comes only from religion. Sorry for everyone, but is it true? And when we realize the unity that we are inside, that's why we have a female and male. I'm talking about force and energy, not personality. We are not opposite force. We are complementary. So one will come with his own experience, which we can call the opposite. Usually we have opposite, but we pass through the same path, and the experience give different perception. That when we start to release a little bit the ego on side and wants to create the unity with the other one, we start to exchange more and we start to evolve. And the other one help us to discover point. I discover a lot of things with different, life that I had with others, but with Michelle, I start to balance more myself, which was. I always have the mind like very.
So bringing more of that mystic self down into body and connecting it to the earth. Yeah. Medicine. The medicine woman, Michelle, I can see that's in her. Yes, very much the mystic and the medicine woman there. So tell me a little bit, since we're playing this Gene Keys game a little bit. It's not really. It's actually, I call it a game, but it is a very transformative tool to use for higher consciousness. What has been your experience being introduced to the Gene Keys in general and this particular 47?
Okay. But we had this little discussion, so I will get back on, but deeper. When we started to talk about today the 47, I started to read more, like I was saying, more about the Gene Key in general, because personally I was studying the Tao and the I Ching. But you can study some things if you don't experience it, or if you don't again connect with your higher self during these studies, through the experience or through the wisdom, you are not really not understanding, but more acquiring wisdom, and it was the thing. So today I was saying to Michelle, you really need to learn, to listen about these things I will read to you. And I really discover, but it's been part for the past 2 weeks, and probably I will say it was really starting when my kids left, because I see another transmutation, like another quantum jump, another phase of transformation. We have plateau, like a musical note, like agnostic, And when we are in this plateau, we need to really take time to observe how we behave consciously and unconsciously, which is very, very difficult to observe. And this is part of the mystic experience, separation to reunify and dissect the things. But when I started to we discussed with you, and I started to read about the 47 gene key, I started to be like, oh my God, that's the discussion that she had with Patricia, the card reader, the friend, a couple of weeks ago. And she was saying about me, Sam needs to unlock some things that apparently it's unconscious. And when Michelle told me that, because she knows me, she was like, look, I will tell you some things, but don't take it, because I have some resistance. We are all like this. If people say, no, it's because they are not aware, but I'm aware of my resistance. And I was like, no, Michelle, go, because it can help me, it will help others.
Yes.
And through this experience, I can release through the video, because that's the objective. I don't want to just show myself and Michelle, hey, this is not the objective. The objective is helping others through our experience, and people will probably not see it, but they will have the same experience. Yes. Just that the perception will be different. And I started to be like, my God. So yesterday we talked to a friend of Michelle that use a certain pattern of religion, but they use the same things, geometrical stuff, because they talk to ancestor or ghost, whatever you want to call that. But they have to pass to another realm. And the other realm, it's a dimension meaning pattern. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, no, but he needs to come and we can work on it. And so anything was bringing me personally, that's why I'm talking on my own. Mm-hmm. So people will probably say, oh, he talk with ego. No, for showing how sometimes we can be stupid as hell to not see what is obvious.
Yes.
And, we talk about with you, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And I'm excited. We will learn some things today. We'll have an exchange. I love that. But I was not aware that the universe was telling me, man, the direction is here. Go here. And I was not aware of it. And I start to understand. I even start to feel some, indication of the fear that I can be released. And so I'm sure I will learn more stuff today. That's why I'm laughing. Again.
It's something. I think also that this is why it's very important to be in the present moment, because we can be aware our behavior and try to understand if we have the same repetition behavior and why. So I try it all the time in my life. Of course, I don't do it all the time, but I try it. No, stay in the present moment and focus what you are doing right now, your behavior. And I think doing it, I think it helps to be aware about our patterns.
Yes, and that's a beautiful. That's exactly like the Gene Keys is a contemplative path, right? And so Richard Rudd, who transmitted this whole book and all of the materials, it's to pause, right? To pause. And that this Gene Key is about that. It's about pausing when something happens to you, and it's karmic too. It's like these karmic things that you brought yes. with you, and then things happen that are, or that are related to that, and then to pause, allow it to come into your belly. It's actually a digestion. And it's a biochemical process in your body when you allow it to be, and not to do the reactive thing, right? Just do something without pausing. Or the other part is when someone freezes, right? And then that way you're not really being in the now, like you said, Michelle. Like you're being in the now with what is uncomfortable. And when you do that, you allow new neural pathways to be activated. And I get chills when I say that, but that's when your DNA changes, right? The epigenetics, like of your own interior body. So I love that you experiencing the embodiment of the Gene Keys, because I can feel it in the playfulness around them, because it can get real heady, right? But it's more about a embodiment of them when you work with the gene keys versus a study. You can study them and memorize them, but it's really an alchemical process in my experience and in many.
Yeah,
but,
it's an harmony. You need to find harmony. You know, it's like creating music. People said, "Oh, Mozart, Beethoven, whatever the genius was." They were not genius. They were activating their inner genius, which is genius. You have gene, and so they activate their gene, which make them genius because it's really the Akash, the famous Akash record, whatever. But the Akash and release and that's why. A couple of weeks ago, I was looking at our relation because, you can pass through wave and you have to surf it. If you resist, the wave will throw you. So you have to change stuff and not be too much rigid, which is part of my family. We are rigid. That's why I was interacting with military. And it's funny because you said something. Michel is more about healing, which healing is more the flow. And I'm more mystical, meaning, we use the flow, but we experience it through the studies, and we go sometimes very deep, and sometimes you get lost, and you're like, up. This is not the right direction. But again, if you don't activate both, understanding and then experiencing, you then go in the hand exit, meaning you have no other road and you are like, okay, now I'm stuck. So I have to go backward and look where I messed up. But it's not messed up that you make a mistake, because mistake help you to growing. And this is where Gene Key, when you read it, that's why the ancient had a tremendous amount of knowledge, and we waste our time to learn mathematics in school, which we should learn Pythagorean, what they were teaching us about pattern, understanding why geometrical works like this, and not because, the triangle for building a house. No, this is not the objective. And this is a lack of comprehension that we have, and we will keep repeating this loop that Michel was explaining until we realize that no one is a genius, until you unlock this gene, the DNA. Alchemy talk about it, Tao talk about it, Rosicrucian talk about it, magician talk about it, Druid talk about it, every shaman. So all the different civilization were explaining the things with different knowledge, experience, perception, but they are all saying the same things. Take time, pause, as the music. Pause, because when the energy goes, it goes fully. If you take it fully, you will not understand what's going on. So you will just like, oh my God. But if you start to pause, the flow will start to slow down, like the chi. And when you understand that you can manipulate the energy as you want. And this is complicated to perceive and interpret within us. Very, very complicated.
Yeah, that's a beautiful explanation, though, of how it all, the alchemy works, the energy flow and the pausing of it. It's almost like when you pause, you come to almost like a zero point, that still point, and then things can reset. Like that's the feeling I got when you said that, anyway. And it's like almost when you do craniosacral work, like I don't know if either of you have experienced that, but
yes.
I'm a practitioner of that. But you bring, and whenever I receive it like resets my whole system. And so the Gene Keys kind of do that in a way too. They allow you, by pausing and holding and contemplating your shadow, not running from it, and instead embracing it, and then it shifts to the gift. Like it just
but the first thing that we used to do is run away.
Oh yeah, well, some days I still do. So
it's I was reflecting what just Michel and what you were saying. the cranial and sacral or sacrocranial, whatever. I did osteopathy for 4 years in France. And I remember a teacher, which the name was Madame Bouton. She was from Russia. And she was explaining to us that people don't really observe the spine. They observe spine as a rectiligne. It's not. When we look at the profile, it wave like a DNA. And the DNA, when you see the pattern cross each other with the 0.0, which I do believe we should focus on this on epigenetics, but the pattern, even our bones are built with a rotation for having more compression capacity. And it's incredible because everything, even trees, show pattern. And we don't. We keep saying, no, our building needs to be into the box because it's representing how we perceive the world and our society. We were discussing with Michelle, I mean, she's better than me on that. The computer system. We created our own system that is becoming a general consciousness in our society, which we should study ching, we should study alchemy, we should study whatever you want to study. Instead, religion is a pattern. It's a strict pattern. It's like this, it's not other. It's good and bad. I don't have a middle. No, it's good or bad. You choose. But if I want to choose the middle, and I remember in osteopathy, a teacher telling me, but why you do that like this? And I said, because I feel it. I feel the MRP. In French, we call that MRP. You probably call that PRM or RPM, the primal respiration, which the flow between the occiput and the sacrum. The same things, it's waving like a DNA. And when you start consciously to change it or trying to rehabilitate the movement as it is, usually you give your tempo, but not the tempo of the individual that you need to heal. And this is a lot of misconception of pattern. People see pattern as rigid. It's triangle, but the triangle can become a square, can become a round, and music are the same. We are surrounded by pattern. Even our brain works with pattern. Even our art works with pattern. So I don't really get why we are so much stuck in our system that is 1 0 1 0 1 0 or sometimes 1 0 0 1 1 1, and it doesn't work. I mean, we can see it doesn't work. So
even inside the relationship, for example, even we have lots of similarities. Sometimes we can see the opposite. He is more material, I am more in the moon. So, but doesn't need to be all the time like me or like him. Sometimes we have this kind of discussion. You need to see, no, why I cannot be a little bit more material, why you cannot be a little bit more, remove some filters. So not just with partner, but with the kids, with our parents. We don't know everything. So we need to exchange, we need to balance with people around us. So this is kind of like music.
It is, and it's beautiful the way what you're saying, because it is about, I mean, that is the way that the future of transmuting the past, right? Those systems where it's this or that, right? And it's not, and it's like, that's like the transmutation happens when you can hold it in between the two, right? And you find, and it's never just this.
Yes.
Right, and it might do this, and
yes.
right, and it's dynamic, and accepting the the dynamism of everything rather than this or that, or that. And that's the shadow patterns, right? There's a repressive, and there's a reactive, and I think for this one, what is it? It's the repressive is feeling hopeless, so it's like that stuckness, like I can't do anything about what's oppressing me, like I'm stuck. And then the other one is dogmatic, and that's more like what you're talking about, like very rigid patterns, like this is the way out, right?
Mhm.
Like this is the solution, and it's only this way. Where we know from what you've said, Samuel, there's so many different places that have a way that you can move through things, right? So it's not, religions. That's why there's so many different ones, because everyone prefers a certain way, and then they get stuck though. And so anyhow, that's kind of what I was feeling when you were talking about that, transmuting the past through the way that you're looking at the balancing within yourself, and the balance as it balances with those all around you.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? I don't know. That may not make sense, but that's just how I visualize it anyway. So
But it's
No,
the way.
I see in our relationship like this.
Yes, yes.
No,
It's the way
yes,
to
it is,
create
yes.
the balance. It's
Yes.
the way to create the balance. If you take the pendule and you start to, or the pendule for, medium or whatever, and you stay like this, the pendule will stay. But if you start to give the movement, it will start to go back and forth. It's like, this Buddhist guy, I love this metaphoric explanation. He said, let's have a pendule here, and now you want to attract. So you will pull the things to you, but at a certain time when you release, the pull get out, and then you come back to harder. When you push the things out, the things go at a certain way. So the more in our society, we push more things that can help us to change than accepting the attraction of what can change us. And this is what I observe to us. We both have resistance because of our pattern, our
Ego.
perception, ego, yeah, for sure. But at the final equation, or the calcul, or whatever you want to call that, the filter get lift, and we start to go forward. We help each other.
Yes.
That's why the duality doesn't exist. Duality is another whatever crap that we want to put, but it's only a complementarity of force
Yes.
for neutralize the wave, the frequency. So it makes completely sense what you are saying. And you have a rectiligne, and then the frequency go up and down, sometimes go up, go down. But for balancing, for harmonizing the life, you need death, you need sometimes sickness for understanding what's going on. It's life. Nothing is horrible. It is just the harmony. But no, because we have this pattern called God, and we are the progenitor of God. Then somehow our pattern is we are God. We are not. We are the consciousness. We are an individual having an experience through the general consciousness, which we call God, but I don't call that God. But I truly believe that when we will release this kind of thought of equalizing, or feeling that we are equal to this tremendous amount of energy, the atom or whatever, we will start to really look at ourselves as it is, and look at the general consciousness. And then we will see that the general consciousness, it's only the equal of how we think individually. Yes. And then pop, the things will pop, and then the transmutation will occur. And we are on the corner. We are on the corner. I will still be like, but I do believe that people will.
Yeah, but how many people, I was remember how many people used to say, I am like this, I will not change. And then they repeat a cycle again. No, I'm not change. I'm like this, so people need to.
That's just the way it is, right? It's just the way it is.
And then the cycle, and they don't understand, like, what is happening to me all the time?
Yeah, but I think we all do consciously. I was doing it consciously, but I do believe that unconsciously we all do this loop that it's explaining.
All the time.
And we need to look at this loop, taking time, pause, and say, okay, I keep repeating the same things. Now it's time to stop. And it's what I'm doing actually. I'm starting to be like, oh, calm down, less laptop, because I have more pain in my back. Let's look at your ego. Let's look at how you react, how people react around you, and start to change. And sometimes a little change make a tremendous amount of different opportunity happen to us.
Yes,
The things that we
totally.
push or we pull. And so it's
And I think the most important thing is to evaluate. We can see that
Yes.
you change yourself, and it's so good. So auto-sabotage sometimes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all very magical when you see somebody shift a pattern or in yourself that you've held for so long. You're like, well, why didn't I just do that a long time ago?
Yes.
I mean, a year ago you wouldn't have caught me doing this, so that just would not have been, you know. But I finally, why not? You know,
Yes,
I enjoy it. Why not? Right? And that's a simple example, but it's those things, you know, you're brought up with, right? Belief systems that were placed around you, or, you know, held in the collective pattern. But now we're shifting the collective pattern, so more and more people will live from their authentic self. That's what I hope for my children, right?
Yes, because the new generation, when we see them, sometimes this is great. I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah, they're powerhouses, and
But at the same time, they are completely entangling, you said in English, to a system that oppresses them. And
Yes.
because they are not aware of it, they give a new pattern that reinforce the actual pattern and generate new things. So, you know,
Yeah.
the video games at our time was fun. The new video game, it's more realistic, and it's sometimes it's scary.
It
It's
is, yeah.
scary.
I agree. So it's giving, through our awareness, it's naturally just energetically transferred to them too, right? In our behaviors, as we allow ourselves to transmute old patterns, they'll see us doing that and feel us doing that, and become more aware for themselves as they mature. But we're about at our time, and I just want to ask you if there's anything else that you'd like to share, or how, and also how can people connect with you? I know we have some links for you, but you know, just go ahead and
By the higher consciousness. Connect with yourself.
connect with yourself.
You own me. That's it. We will not exist other than that.
You are part of me. I am part of you.
Exactly. Exactly. You want to find us, you can find us. You will find tons of people that they are very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Mhm.
No,
No,
I talk enough. Go.
no, go.
No, we decided to continue awakening tribes and reinforce video. We will probably generate new things in a couple of months, but you know, time, and we created a new channel, which is not awakening tribes, but it's Train Fit channel, which we decided to use the commitment because we have a lack of in this society of commitment. Oh, I need to work. Okay, but you work for what? Oh, I work for a boss. Yeah, but if you work for a boss, you're not working for you.
Yes.
And you need to work for yourself. Yeah, but I need to feed my family. I understand. But you need to feed your family. Alimentation is some things, but the energy is another thing. We cannot change our society if we are not changing individually. It's not possible. And the history show it. We keep repeating the same pattern over and over. So this new channel, which we will re-set up certain video for being more, we'll say, speakable to people. Take a challenge in your life, because challenge will put you in uncomfortable zone, which uncomfortable zone asks you to take risk, analytic risk, not be like, whoa, I will jump through the windows. Let's see what's happening. No, but those risks that you will take, it's the risk that you will change yourself. You will experience new situation, new environment, new people, new exchange, and new energy that will automatically allows you unconsciously to change your subconscious. and what you are doing consciously, I'm not talking about it because it's catastrophic, but I personally decided to take an Ironman because, first of all, Ironman, when we look with the mystical way, it's alchemy. We interact with the 4 elements, which is the 5th, because the spirit works a lot. And Michelle wants to join me. We were discussing that today, I think, about she's a beach volley player. And she have a lack, of explosivity because she's strong. And we will try to work on it. So explaining training, but how training can interfere with your life and how your life can be modified by those change that training, commitment, whatever you want, challenge will occur in your life. And it's only about you, only about your choice. You want to change or not. The change will not change you if you said, oh, I challenge myself, it's changed. And then you keep repeating the same things.
You have to take
because, it's funny because some got inside this challenge for Ironman, and I was helping him to build the channel. And then I've been invited to participate in a competition in November with beach volley. And then my challenge appeared. So I'm going to join him in this channel, share a little bit my challenge too. So we are discussing today about it. I said, Sam, I think I can go with you and you can work with me, showing my progress. And we are doing it. But we continue in the Awakening Tribes. Just we have now more work.
More work. You're expanding.
It's funny because a couple of minutes ago, she was saying, no, but I have some difficulty to talk to people and exchange my life, but she will have to do it now.
Yes, no problem.
So you see, when you allow a challenge, the challenge will automatically bring you change opportunities.
Yes.
Take it. Don't search to, no, but what will happen? It's my problem. I all the time said, okay, this is the solution. I already have a solution. Okay, so like Michelle said to me 2 days ago, but the problem will occur if you already have a solution.
Yes.
So it's,
no, I used to have this kind of fear, but I at the same time I jump. So, yes.
Yes. Yes, you're a leader. Yes. Leaders. So thank you. No, it's really beautiful conversation with the two of you, and I look forward to more. So
yes.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, have a beautiful day, evening, whatever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye, tribes.
Bye.